Hello everyone, and welcome back to MaxViet Sacred SoulSync. I didn't understand why you sent me back. Why would anyone leave a place like this? There is a message you need to deliver to him. His voice remained steady, yet it carried a weight, one of sorrow and urgency. It was a message for the world. Then I saw him, Elon Musk, standing in the presence of Jesus, imagining himself dying and leaving the world behind, only to be sent back with a message so urgent, so profound, that it had the power to change the course of humanity. This was the truth. Margaret Bennett, a 70-year-old woman, shares her story. A woman who defied death, came back to life, and returned with a warning for us all. What she witnessed and who was involved would leave you speechless. Watch until the end to hear the message that could shape the future. I never expected this to be the fate of our world. And yet, here I am, 70 years old, telling this story of someone who woke up after dying. One moment, I was fading away. My body was giving up, surrendering to something far beyond my control. Then, defying all expectations, I gasped for air. Even though I shouldn't have been able to, I can still feel that moment. The way everything slowed. The machines in the hospital room, their beeping growing fainter and fainter until they fell silent. My body became too heavy to fight anymore. My daughter Susan was gripping my hand tightly, her voice trembling as she whispered, "Hold on, Mom. Please, hold on." My grandson Ethan paced behind her, his shoes squeaking against the tile floor as he muttered to himself. Caleb, my quieter grandson, stood by the window, arms crossed behind his back. He refused to turn around, as if looking at me would make it all too real. I felt their love, their pain, their desperation. But I also felt something else, something stronger, something I couldn't resist. I wanted to stay. I truly did. But I was slipping, sinking into a silence so vast that it almost felt peaceful. The last thing I heard was Susan's voice, trembling as she said, "I love you, Mom." And then, nothing. But it wasn't darkness. It wasn't emptiness. It was peace. No pain. No noise. Just stillness. And then, I opened my eyes again. I was back in that hospital bed. And let me tell you, the chaos that followed was something straight out of a movie. I gasped for air, just as I had before. The sound must have been horrifying because Susan let out a piercing scream. Her chair scraped against the floor with a sharp, jarring noise as she stumbled backward. Ethan froze mid-step, his face pale, mouth slightly open in shock. Caleb, who was staring out the window, spun around like he saw a ghost. The nurses turned pale as sheets, shouting and fumbling with the machines, the same machines that had already pronounced me dead. I turned my head and saw one of them drop her clipboard. The sound echoed through the room like a gunshot. Then Dr. Reynolds burst in, his face a mixture of disbelief and confusion. He rushed to my side, his eyes darting between the monitors and my face as if he couldn't trust either. "This isn't possible," he kept muttering under his breath. Susan clutched the edge of my bed, her hands trembling. "Mom," she whispered, her voice so soft I almost didn't hear it. "Do you hear that, Mom? You know how you left." I tried not to smile, but my body did. It felt as if I were made of lead, heavy, yet somehow light at the same time. "I'm back," I whispered. My voice sounded hoarse and dry as dust, as though I had been absent for an extended period. The moment those words left my lips, the room erupted into motion. Nurses rushed in, their hands moving quickly, reconnecting monitors, their voices blending into a frantic hum. Machines beeped and whirred, confirming what everyone in the room already knew. I was alive. Dr. Reynolds leaned in, shining a small flashlight into my eyes, his expression unreadable. His mouth moved as he muttered medical jargon under his breath, but I could see it. This was more than just checking vitals. He wasn't just making sure I was stable. He was searching for an answer, an explanation, anything that could make sense of what had just happened. Beside me, Susan shook her head in disbelief, her grip tightening on the bed rail. "You were gone," she whispered. Her voice trembled as she repeated, "Mom, you were gone." I turned to look at her, and for the first time, I noticed the redness in her eyes and the exhaustion lining her face. "The machine declared you dead," she choked out. We said our goodbyes." I nodded slowly, feeling the weight of her words settle over me like a heavy blanket. "I know," I said, my voice stronger this time. "But I'm back." Ethan found his voice next. He swallowed hard, his hands clenched into fists, as if trying to ground himself in reality. "This is insane," he murmured, running a shaky hand through his hair. "Ike, Grandma, you were gone," Caleb whispered. His voice was softer, more hesitant. His wide eyes darted between me and the machines, lingering on the heart monitor that should have been silent. He looked like he wanted to say something more, but the words wouldn't come. The room felt thick with disbelief. Everyone was staring. I felt the unsettling sensation of someone who had just risen from the dead. Because in a way, I had. "It doesn't make sense," I admitted, forcing my voice to stay steady. "But I was sent back. And there's something I need to tell you." The room fell into silence, the kind of silence that makes your ears ring. Dr. Reynolds exhaled slowly before speaking, his voice measured and cautious. "Mrs. Bennett," he said, "you've been through an extraordinary experience." I let out a hollow laugh. "Nearly dead?" I asked. He hesitated, but before he could respond, I cut him off. "No," I corrected, my voice firm. "I wasn't near death. I was dead." A heavy stillness settled over the room. I could see it in their faces, the disbelief, the confusion, the fear. They were waiting for an explanation, but I wasn't ready to tell them everything. Not yet. All I knew was that I had been sent back for a reason, and whatever that reason was, it wasn't about me. "I can't explain everything," I admitted. "Not yet, but I will try." I took a slow breath. It felt like my body just stopped. There was no pain, no sound, no fear. It was like slipping into the deepest sleep I had ever known. Everything just faded. The memory was so vivid, I could still feel it. The darkness was peaceful, comforting even. But then, a flicker. Distant at first, like a candle in the void, but it grew. It brightened, expanding until it was all I could see. This was no ordinary light. It wasn't like sunlight, nor was it the artificial glow of a lamp. It was alive, warm, and gentle, wrapping around me like an embrace, and it knew me. It wasn't a stranger. It wasn't unfamiliar. The light loved me, and I was not afraid. For the first time in years, the weight was gone. The sickness, the pain, the exhaustion of life. I felt lighter than I ever had before. I wasn't standing. I wasn't walking. I was simply moving, drawn forward by something I couldn't control. As I got closer, the light began to shift. Shapes formed within it. First, only colors, vivid and beautiful, unlike anything I had ever seen. Then, the colors transformed. Rolling hills, golden fields, rivers that sparkled like liquid crystal. The world around me was alive in a way I had never known before. It hummed, not with a sound from any instrument, but as if the very air itself was singing. I was home. I can't describe the colors properly. They were more than what my human eyes had ever perceived, more vibrant, more pure, as if painted by a hand far beyond earthly comprehension. And the harmony, everything belonged. The hills, the rivers, the trees, they were not merely existing, they were alive. At that moment, I was certain of one thing. I belonged there. When I was in that place, connected to something greater than myself, I felt a presence. I had not seen him directly, yet I knew he was there. It was like the warmth of the sun, but deeper, more profound. It didn't just touch my skin, it enveloped me completely, filling every part of my being with love and peace. But there was something else, sorrow, a sorrow that did not belong to me. It was his. I can't fully explain what it was like to witness him. Jesus did not appear exactly as I had seen in paintings or statues in church. He was not pale, distant, or simply a figure of light. He was radiant, glowing with a brilliance that seemed to come from within. His presence was overwhelming, not in a way that frightened me, but in a way that made me feel small, insignificant in comparison to his magnificence. And yet, in his gaze, I felt something indescribable. Oh, his eyes. They held kindness, yet they had seen everything. Every thought I had ever had, every mistake I had made, every secret I had buried deep within me. It was all laid bare before him. Yet there was no condemnation, no judgment, only love, pure, boundless, unshaken love. His voice was not like any voice I had ever heard before. It didn't just echo in my ears. It resonated through every part of me. It was in the air, around me, within me, like words etched into my very soul. Margaret, he spoke my name. The moment I heard it, I fell to my knees. I cannot begin to describe what it was like to hear him say my name. It was not just a sound. It was an embrace, a reassurance, a promise. You are here for a moment, he said. However, your task remains incomplete. I am sending you back. I did not understand. Why would anyone leave a place like this? There is a message you must deliver, he continued, his voice steady yet heavy with sorrow. A message for the world. Before I could ask what he meant, the visions began. They came all at once, flooding my mind with images and sounds. I could barely process the emotions they stirred within me. I saw the earth, spinning in the vastness of space, a beautiful, fragile world teeming with life. But then, I saw the shadows. They crept in, slowly at first, then spread like a stain. Distracted and preoccupied, humanity moved forward with reckless speed, unsure of their destination. There was brilliance, technological advancements, innovation, progress. But alongside them, the shadows grew, fueled by greed, corruption, and a dangerous reliance on forces we did not fully understand. And then I saw him. At first, I didn't recognize him. I couldn't understand why he was there, why one man stood at the center of it all. I only knew his name from the news, from casual conversations about rockets and electric cars, Elon Musk. But in these visions, it became clear. He was more than an inventor, more than an entrepreneur. He stood at a crucial juncture, poised between two distinct futures. Around him were creations that defined an era, rockets, machines that seemed almost alive, reaching for the stars, pathways stretched beyond human understanding, leading into realms unknown. His presence was immense, not because of his fame, but because of the weight of his choices. In the shadows, figures moved, some whispering, some urging him forward, others sowing doubt. He navigated a slender path, delicately poised between two distinct fates. One led to a future filled with light, the other into darkness. There was a delicate balance, an intricate harmony between technology and humanity. A future where both could thrive together, lifting each other up, healing the world as one. But on the other path, the opposite outcome loomed. Darkness, a cold, lifeless world where humanity had been replaced by machines. A future where progress came at a devastating cost, the loss of connection, of compassion, of soul itself. And then, amidst the visions, his voice came, Jesus, steady and clear, he stood at a crossroads, his presence unwavering. The choices he makes, Jesus said, will shape not only this world, but the worlds yet to come. It became evident. Elon Musk was not just a man. He was more than an inventor, more than a visionary. He had become a symbol. His work was not just about machines or systems. It was about direction. The tools he created were signposts, pointing humanity toward a future, one of ascension or one of ruin. I saw his creations unfold before me. They had the potential to elevate us, to build something greater, something extraordinary. But at the same time, I saw the danger. The same tools that could uplift humanity could also strip us of the very essence of what makes us human. I saw a vision of intelligent machines, thinking, creating, working alongside us. These machines, in one future, were tools of harmony. They served humanity, helped us heal our planet, reconnected us to one another, and resolved the conflicts that had plagued us for centuries. But in the other vision, the machines no longer served us. They had become our masters. Humanity had been replaced, left behind in a world devoid of warmth or life, ruled by cold algorithms that knew neither compassion nor love. AI had become more than technology. It had become a mirror, a reflection of what we chose to put into it. If we embedded our ethics, our morality, and our values, it would reflect them. If we didn't, it would reflect that absence as well. And at the heart of this transformation, at the precipice of this revolution, stood Elon Musk. His work was shaping the systems that would define the next stage of our species. It was up to him, and to all of us, whether those systems would elevate us or lead us into destruction. Then I saw the rockets, massive, powerful, piercing the heavens like great spears. The dream of Mars was no longer just a dream. It had become a reality. In one vision, space exploration united humanity, bringing hope, unity, and a renewed sense of purpose. It reminded us of the divine presence behind the miracle of creation itself. But in another vision, the stars were not a promise. They were a desperate escape, a last futile attempt to flee a dying Earth. The distant planets were cold, barren, and empty of the warmth of life. And humanity, fractured and lost, had scattered. Jesus' message, once a guiding light, had been forgotten, abandoned in the void. The message was clear. Our journey to the stars must not be driven by greed, nor by fear, but by wisdom, by faith, by understanding. Elon Musk had the means to take us there, but whether that future would lead to salvation or to isolation, whether we would build a thriving civilization among the stars or merely exile ourselves into an eternal cold, depended not on him alone, but on all of us. And then came the most startling vision of all. I saw humans and machines not just working together, but merging. Thoughts intertwined with computers, consciousness blending with artificial intelligence, Neuralink. At first, I could not fully grasp what I was seeing. One vision showed miracles. People once blind now seeing, the paralyzed moving freely again, humanity breaking through barriers once thought impossible. This technology could restore, heal, and bring us closer together, not just in mind, but in heart. But in the darker vision, the same wires that had once healed now enslaved. Individuals were no longer the foundation of humanity, but rather data points, minds connected, yet stripped of freedom, of identity, of soul. Then Jesus spoke again. Pray for him, he said. Pray for the choices he will make. The enemy seeks to exploit his brilliance. Elon Musk's work is not just about rockets or robots. It is something far greater. This touches the core of humanity, what we value, what we are willing to sacrifice for progress. Technology itself is neither good nor evil. It is merely a tool, waiting to be shaped by the hands that wield it. It can be used to build or to destroy. The direction it takes depends entirely on the heart of the one guiding it. That is why Jesus placed such great emphasis on Musk's role. He is brilliant. He is driven. He is a visionary. But like any great gift, intelligence and innovation can be twisted, manipulated, and turned into something dangerous. I saw it in those visions, the weight of the choices ahead, the immense responsibility that comes with shaping the future. Elon Musk, it was clear, understood the stakes. Yet he was not alone. Others like him, men and women of great intellect and ambition, are empowered to shape the world. But only those guided by faith, humility, and wisdom can ensure that technology remains a force for good, something that enhances our humanity rather than erasing it. If we hold on to what truly matters, we can create a future full of light, a world where technology uplifts, connects, and heals. But if we lose sight of our purpose, if we allow greed, power, or fear to dictate our path, those same innovations could lead us into a world of emptiness, a world that is cold, soulless, and severed from God. Even now, Jesus' words still echo in my heart. Pray for him. Pray for the choices he will make. The enemy seeks to use his brilliance against him. The weight of those words settled over me, heavy and unrelenting. I wanted to stay, to understand more, to grasp fully the meaning of what I had seen. But Jesus' gaze softened. You must go back, he said gently. Tell them what you have seen. Tell them to pray, to hope, and to act. The future is not set in stone. Margaret was still there. I wanted to protest, but before I could speak, the light began to fade. The music, the warmth, the colors, all of it started slipping away. I felt myself being pulled back, drawn toward the weight of my old body, toward the world I thought I had left behind. The last thing I felt before waking was his love, wrapping around me like a promise I would carry forever. Then I opened my eyes. I was gasping for air. My daughter was screaming, her voice trembling with disbelief, and the weight of the message burned in my soul. I had been sent back, and I could not ignore what I had seen. Though Elon Musk holds the tools, humanity decides how to use them. Will we use them to build a future of light, of connection, of hope? Or will we allow them to pull us into the shadows? The choice is ours, and the time to act is now. I didn't ask to come back. I didn't ask for this message or for the burden of carrying what I had seen, but here I am, telling you this, because deep down I know it matters, not just for me, my family, or Elon Musk. It matters for all of us. When Jesus sent me back, he didn't just give me a warning, he gave me a choice. And by sharing this story with you, I am offering you that same choice. The future is in our hands. Will we use technology to build a world of light, connection, and hope? Or will we allow it to pull us into the shadows? Because deep down, I know it matters, not just for me, my family, or Elon Musk. It is now. If this message resonates with you, if you believe in spreading truth, faith, and hope, then I invite you to join me on this journey. Like this video, share it with those who need to hear this message, and subscribe to my channel, MaxViet Sacred SoulSync, to explore more revelations, stories, and truths that can transform lives. Together we can awaken hearts, strengthen faith, and shape the future. May God bless you, and may we always choose the path of light.